Hello friend, you're welcome to this very important discussion on our seminar growth. And today we're looking at very important topic, phototropic and gravitropic growth in workplace. What matters most? I remain your facilitator, Dr. Makwachukwu Ojide. Let's quickly look at how those in agricultural science explain this concepts. The plant is basically divided into two sections, the upper region and the lower region. The upper region is seen by everyone, where you have the leaf, the fruit, and the lower region is not seen because it's under the ground. And that is, the upper region is what we call phototropic growth. Is growth towards light or away from light, or basically growth to a particular direction under the influence of light. Whereas gravitropic growth has to do with growth movement of plants in response to gravity. Gravity is that force that you throw something up and it will definitely come down. All right, that has to do with the roots of the plant. This is crucial for the development and survival of the crop or any plant. It enables the plants to grow downward, to access water, access nutrients, and have a grip in the soil such that it doesn't fall away in the face of wind. All right, so for the tropic growth, in that region we see light, we see easy growth. Things can easily grow that way, and then there is no serious force resisting the plant from growing up. And then we see the fruit. The fruit is noticed, is celebrated. This is unlike gravitropic growth, where there is darkness. It is always difficult, the roots penetrating through the ground, and sometimes rocks trying to reach down. All right, the roots are there, and the roots are hardly noticed. The roots are not celebrated at all. All right, and what's the lessons we are picking from this? An analogy around this is the fact that whatever is on the surface, which is noticed and celebrated, is a function of what is under the ground. All right, when you see the fruits and the beautiful tree, just remember that the foundation was laid long before that manifestation on the surface starts showing up. All right, so the foundation laying is something, so in most cases very expensive, it's time consuming, and it requires resilience, not giving up. It requires this kind of sacrificial mindset that you want to build the things that will house, the things that will be a foundation to what you want to see on top. In most cases, it has to do with delayed gratification. You are making an investment for the future. Instead of trying to take all the profit you can eat immediately, you decide to defer that gratification for the future. All right, it has to do with paying attention, and that is why we need to pay attention to the foundation of the fruits you want to bear in your career. If you don't pay attention around the foundation, you may be paying more attention on the fruit, and if care is not taken, you may be celebrating the fruits of others thinking is your own fruit. A typical example is somebody who is working in a market environment, and before you came on board, some other persons have worked there and approached some clients on issues, and then they leave for another workplace, and then you have come on board, and you may be thinking that the result you are seeing is your effort, but it could be what of the fruits of the labor of others who were there before you. So you need to pay attention to that kind of foundation that will yield the fruits you want to be celebrated. So what is the key lesson here? It's important we pay attention to what is under the ground. Why? Because the manifestation that we want to see on top, is what will be what is underground will sustain it. All right, it is required to manifest that growth and sustain that growth that is on top. If what is underground is not firm, what is on top will not stand the test of time, and that is why you need to pay attention. So what is under the ground? There are a lot of things, but I wouldn't want to go into all of them. In summary, they are what we call the soft skills. Let me quickly take you through a few of them here. The first one is a growth mindset and willingness to learn. If you want to do well in any workplace, you must have that mindset to learn. All right, eagerness to learn. That mindset will help you, but if you have a fixed mindset that you don't want to learn, you may be losing a lot. And that is why the habit of learning, unlearning, and relearning is very, very important. You need to learn new skills that will help you become productive. And then if you came with things, a mindset, an approach that is not working, you unlearn it. and then relearn what will help you bear fruit or be productive in that place of work. The second one is positive and solution focused attitude. People prefer and actually enjoy working with someone who is positive, and then solution focused, unlike somebody who is always focusing on the negative and trying to demotivate the other members of the team. The third one is empathy and emotional intelligence. All right, empathy helps you to put yourself in the shoes of your clients, your colleagues, your customers, your associates, especially in making decisions, and it guides you in making the right decision. All right, it increases motivation, it increases purpose in the place of work. In addition, emotional intelligence is required, is a key skill for workers and for leaders. It's that ability that helps you regulate your emotion as well as the emotion of others. It is very significant in workplace, all right, because it helps to ensure teamwork, it helps to ensure quality service delivery. The next one is issue of accountability. If you are not accountable, accountability could mean different things, but in this context, we want to look at accountability as being responsible for your action. It's very, very important in workplace. Occasionally, people mess up at workplace. It is human. But what is important is how you handle your mistakes. All right? That determines if you have growth potential or not. All right? So, going directly, for instance, to your boss to say, I did this and I discovered that it's an error, and you own it up and explain what happened and how you could have contributed to it, and also profile or suggest solution. That makes you accountable. All right? Showing that accountability, not being afraid to admit your error, is a sign of maturity. It helps others to work with you easily, instead of you trying to hide the problem of pointing fingers. Another one is accessibility and being responsive. Effective employees are accessible. They don't try to isolate themselves from the team. They value the team. They make themselves available to increase productivity of the team as a whole. Of course, the other one is being responsive. Their team members can count on them to respond promptly and move the project forward. They understand that communicating with the other members of the team makes for successful collaboration. The sixth one, then the seventh one, we stop there, all right? Okay, the sixth one is that heart of a servant. As individuals, we have the option of approaching each day with either a selfish mindset or selfless mindset. Effective employees or people who work in workplaces have this selfless attitude. Attitude could mean a lot, all right? Attitude could mean a lot. How do you approach your work at each day? Is it selfishly or selflessly? That's a choice you have to make. The other one is issue of communication. Communication is very, very important. Being able to communicate, being able to listen to colleagues. That communication skill includes active listening, setting clear expectation, asking questions where you are not clear, and then showing interest in others when they are talking to you and what they are saying. If you listen to people very well, you may understand what they are saying and what they are not telling you. Sometimes somebody will tell you something, but if you listen very carefully, you understand what the person also is not telling you. If, for instance, your boss is not satisfied the way you work, when he makes certain comments, if you are listening very well, you will know the key thing he's trying to pass across to you. So it could be quite frustrating and capable of reducing trust when you work with colleagues who do not listen, or people you know that they will not follow up on what you have agreed with them. A good employee listens, practices strong communication skill every day, whether in person or online. Once that communication is done, they follow it up. All right? And then the other point, which is the final thought here, is the fact that the emphasis is that you shouldn't just be a phototropic oriented person. Don't just be watching out for your result that will be celebrated. Take time to lay that key foundation. And that is why we want to say that it's important you be a gravitropic oriented person at workplace. And indeed, every other space where you operate. If you are interested in the quality, in the foundation of what is producing the result will naturally show. The tree does not struggle to produce fruit. It rather struggles to put the roots in the ground to get the required nutrients, to hold grip, to get the water, and then the fruits will come naturally. So pay attention to what is on the ground, and you will be celebrated. Your victory will be celebrated. Your fruits will be celebrated. Thank you very much for giving audience to this discussion. Wishing you the very, very best. Cheers.